Amanda, congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
What made you decide to write this book?
You know, I had covered crime and terrorism and disasters in one way or another for over a decade, and I finally realized that there was something missing from a lot of the official conversations that are held about how to prevent and respond to disasters. And that was the stories of regular people. The more disasters I covered, particularly 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina, the more I realized that people had these remarkable stories to tell that they really urgently wanted to tell. And then on top of that, there's some new, really fascinating science to help explain what they were telling me. So together, it seemed like a really interesting way to learn how we behave at the worst of times in hopes of doing a little bit better.
So this is a book more about people than about an event.
That's right. It's about how people behave in the worst of times, but often what I found is the event could change. I mean, from a shipwreck to a burning building, you get very similar behavior, but it's behavior you probably don't expect.
What are some of the more common traits that cuts across the events in terms of people?
The most common reaction to a disaster is lethargy. The people get very slow. They sometimes shut down altogether. It's much more common than, for example, panic, which is something that we expect. And it's a huge problem. It was first noticed in detail in plane crashes, where the plane would crash, but it would be on the ground and people would have survived, but it's on fire, and so people have to unbuckle their seatbelts and get out. And there's just a number of terrible crashes where people were just found burned in their seats. So that's a really interesting one that I think most people don't know about.
Did you find it at all stressful in talking to people about and having them recreate these events?
You know, I thought that I would. I mean, I thought it sounded very dark to spend all this time writing about disasters. But the most surprising thing is that I probably came away from it much more optimistic than I was before. Because what you find is that deeper inside any tragedy you find stories, and you find signs of real human generosity, way more than you would find at rush hour on the freeway, for example. So people become actually very communal, very caring of strangers. So there is this sort of unexpected flip side.
And you found them very cooperative and pouring
Yeah,
out
actually people were inexplicably generous with their time. And I do think what they told me was that, they wanted their survival to count for something. So they were usually, ready to go through, relive these experiences again, which was, very difficult. But they wanted to tell other people what they had been through because there were things that they wished someone had told them.
Among the stories you heard, was there anything that stood out or that stands out?
Yeah, I think one of the most surprising things that I saw over and over again is that fear was not the dominant emotion in a lot of these situations. And that's, I think, what we're all so scared about and why we don't want to think about oftentimes what it would actually be like to go through these things. And we just figure, you'll either survive or not, and there's no point thinking about it, which is not true, as it turns out. Fear is definitely a powerful part of it, but often people will go in very, very frightening situations. Their brain kind of switches modes into sort of disaster think, where they're very focused on, okay, what are the 5 things I need to do to get out of here? What are my options? And your brain really rapidly goes through its different scripts to figure out what would make sense. And so there's this real kind of rational response at the same time you're feeling fear, and then again this real affection and concern for the people around you that is unexpected, I think.
Do you find that people tend to do the right thing in these moments?
Yes. If you mean by the right thing that they tend to do the honorable thing, then yes. They often don't know what the right thing is to do, particularly in the Trade Center where there was no obvious true north. I mean, the standard protocol in skyscraper fires is to stay inside, so you can't say what the right thing would have been to do except retrospectively.
You tend to think in these situations people become selfish and they think about only their own survival and not
Right.
others. Did you find that true, or?
No. There are certain conditions that are pretty unusual, where people will sort of stampede or panic or become antisocial. But they're really unusual and way more than you would expect. And I think there are good evolutionary reasons for that, because when you're under a threat, I mean, chimpanzees do this. They immediately clump together and they'll pat each other's back, and they're very cooperative, because you're much more likely to survive if you help each other.
Are there any lessons that can be learned from these stories about
Yes.
future disasters?
I think there are a lot, and some of them are very simple, but the general theme is that regular people matter more than anyone else. And I think we've spent a lot of time in this country in the past few years spending money on first responders and on gear and trucks and hazmat suits, and all of that's well and good. But those people are almost never there at the worst moments. It's always regular people who do the vast majority of rescuing at disaster sites. And so I think we've sort of gotten away from that, and we sort of rely on officials to come save us, and unfortunately they can't be everywhere at once. So I think we need to sort of get back to those skills of self-sufficiency.
What do we learn, though, from these disasters?
I think we've learned that people can do amazing things, that people lose a lot of skills, basic skills in disasters, and they gain a lot of different ones.
Well, thank you, Amanda. It's been a fascinating conversation and a fascinating topic. Good luck with your book.
Thanks for having me.